had been going on, I hadn't seen her in a little while. After I left, you don't have a job. Because the next day, knowing my daughter had to go to school, you stayed out with the lane. You stayed out with the lane. You want to talk, and you stayed out with the lane while your daughter was crying for you. Tears. Also, she wanted to talk about all of this money talk and all of this and what I don't got and what I got. Since I met her, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth. And with me saying that, I want to say this to y'all. Anyone who has an iPhone, you know how iPhones work. When I was younger, I used to be able to write rhymes in my head, create rhymes in my head, and remember them. Just like that. As time went on, I got a little older, I started to write rhymes in my email draft. Now, if you have an iPhone, you go in your email draft. If anybody come around me, and we're in the flesh next to each other, I can type in any word from one of her songs, and her entire rap will come up. The entire verse will come up. I never asked for a penny. I never asked for credit. She was my wife. I didn't want anything from her. I just wanted to see her win. Like I said, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth since I met her. Y'all said it. Y'all said it numerous times. Oh, we know that's Pep behind that pen. Did I ever agree with y'all? Did I ever put it out there? I never said I wrote her rhymes. I left it. I didn't need the credit. All I wanted her to do was win. Wrote the rhymes, did the contracts, security, the whole shit. So you fabricating these stories, and it's very weird that you're talking all of this money talk, but in your background, it's everything that I bought. All of the utilities are in my name. So all of this fabrication about, oh, he don't pay no bills, oh, he don't do this, he don't do that. If you analyze her life, the whole thing is about all of this money talk. Why? Because she wants y'all to think that she's this big shot. I don't need to come up here and perpetrate no fraud like I'm a big shot, like I'm this and I'm that. For the simple fact that I speak with my actions. You want to talk about black love? Anybody who follow me, they know I've always been pro-black and had knowledge of self since I was a teenager. So I've represented that since I came in the door before I even knew you. Okay? So don't ever talk about black love and what else she said? I got to remember. So, first and foremost, very bipolar, very delusional. This is a person who will sit in front of you. She will post that live, and she'll say later, I didn't do that. I wasn't on live. You'll be sitting there like, huh? She will say something to you, and 10 minutes later say, I never said that. Very bipolar. And I don't want to talk bad about her, man. That's something that I never wanted to do. That's why when this took place, when she first got caught cheating with the lame, I brought it to her attention. I said, first of all, I couldn't even believe that she would stoop that low because he's such a cornball. Y'all see it. Y'all say it yourself. I'm like, yo, it's no way it's this nigga. Because I'm trying to figure it out. Like, damn, who is this nigga? Because, we were living a normal, peaceful life, raising our child like we planned to, and she started to move real strange. So in the process of her moving strange, it became stranger and stranger, worse and worse. So I said, damn, I got to see what's going on. What the hell is going on? I started to do my research. As I did my research, I found out she was cheating with the lame. So once I find out, I brings it to her attention. I said, mind you, I didn't knock him out because he slept with my wife. Like I told y'all before, the reason I knocked him out was because he shook my hand and then slept with my wife. It's a difference. But let me tell y'all this. So I bring it to her attention that I found out that she's sleeping with the lame. She tells me, him? Why him? Why him out of all people? Not Goods? Not Hitman? My word is my bond is my life. I should give my life before my word shall fail. This was her exact words. Him? Why would I deal with him? I said, Rem, I know you're dealing with the lame. I know it. First and foremost, how I first fell on my radar that she was cheating with the nigga, he was running his mouth and it came back to me. They said, yo, Pat, this nigga out here telling niggas he fucking your wife. I said, word. So I did a little bit more research, connect a couple more dots, I finds out. She tells me this. Okay, I finds out. Mind you, it's not the first time she cheated. You know what I mean? I continued the marriage because I live by my wedding vow. I try to live by my wedding vows. Richer for poor, sick and for health, sickness and health, you know what I'm saying? Better for worse, death do us part. So you try to work through things. Anybody out there who's married, y'all understand. So I found out she cheating with the lame. I bring it to her attention. Of course, we have an altercation, like basically argument back and forth or whatever transpired, right? Okay. She decides, and I decide that we're going to go to therapy. But she brings it to my attention, to be honest. She said, I think we should do therapy. I said, okay. Even though I'm private and I don't like to speak to people about my personal business, that was a very, very difficult thing for me to do. But I said, you know what? Let's do the therapy. We go to the therapist. We go to the therapist. The therapist's first question is, do you guys want a divorce or do y'all want to work it out? Me and her both said we want to work it out. So when she comes on live and say, we haven't slept in the bed since 2022, and to make it seem like and fabricate a story like we had some agreement, you such a liar. There was no agreement. When I found out you was with the lame, you denied it. You shitted on him. Basically said, yo, why would I be with him? Why do you think I would be with him? And then you wanted to go to therapy. So check it out now. Check it out. So when we go to therapy, the therapist says, do y'all want to get a divorce or do y'all want to work it out? Me and her both said we want to work it out. I'm going to be honest. Because honestly, I didn't want to not live under the same roof as my 5-year-old. I love all my kids the same. But when you have children, and everyone knows that about me. Everybody who know me, y'all know my character. Y'all know her character. Very rude, very disrespectful, not just to me, to everyone. But that speaks volumes. I didn't want to we planned to raise her with both parents. That was the plan. So I did not want to not live under the same roof with my little girl. I was there from the moment she came out of the womb, and I intended, and I always told her, I want to be there to the moment we take her to her prom. Till she graduates high school, college, get her degrees. I want to be there to take my daughter to her prom. And I told her that. So I never wanted to leave from under the roof with my baby. That's why I stayed around for this nonsense. And I don't want to go away from the point. Okay, so we did the therapy. The therapist gave us that option. We both said we want to work it out. She said, this is the plan. I'm going to give y'all a plan to work it out. She said, Pat, because like I told y'all previously, once I seen that she was cheating, like she was moving real strange, I'm talking about leaving for hours at a time. Every time I questioned it, it was a lie, just strange behavior. So once I noticed that she was moving strange, I started to do my research. So the therapist said, because she told the therapist, mind you, she got all these lies to y'all about me. The only thing she told the therapist was, oh, he doesn't trust me. He's going to keep looking behind me and trying to, find out what I'm doing. But the only reason why I was looking behind her is because she was moving strange. So I agreed to, not show distrust or whatever. And the therapist told her, Remy, since you're saying that it's only business with this dude moving forward, but y'all have a last event coming up, after this event, you're going to cut all ties with this individual. This is what the therapist said. She said, Pat, because I told Rem back then, before I even clipped him, I said, when I catch son, I'm putting him down. I'm putting him down. He violated, you know what I'm saying? And what I noticed, when I found out, I noticed that every time me and her stepped out and made an appearance, he'd go post on his gram, do little sucker shit. He'd go make a post on his story about us. So I'm watching this. Mind you, y'all, I'm not saying nothing the whole time. I know this nigga sleeping with my wife, but I ain't saying nothing. Feel me? I'm like, I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't saying nothing. Son doing sucker shit on the gram. That's cool. I ain't paying that no mind. We go to therapy. The therapist come up with the plan. We put the plan together. The therapist said she has this event coming up at Sony Hall, which was the battle between him and Hitman. She said, you can go to the event, right? But don't knock him. Don't do nothing to this individual. She said, I said, I'm going to go to the event. I'm going to fall back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do nothing. After the event, she's supposed to leave the dude alone. Right? I go to the hold on a second, man. Give me 1 second. I don't know what I'm going to do. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second, y'all.